Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Purple Breakdown. I am your host, Alex, and I'm so excited to be back here on another episode of the Purple Breakdown with all of you. It is an amazing Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. It is hump day. Commercial really long time ago, but whatever. We are here to talk Ravens football, and I'm so excited to be back here and talking Ravens football with you all. It's a great and amazing Wednesday. I hope you're enjoying your Wednesday and enjoying this week so far. We're almost getting close to the weekend again, and it'll be a lot of fun. So, I hope you're all enjoying your day, and let's jump and dive right into it because we're here to talk about Ravens football. But first, if you like the content that you're hearing, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps the channel out. And we just hit today, actually, big milestone marker, 100 subscribers. We have finally reached to 100, so thank you to all of you who have subscribed, comment frequently, and help push the podcast out there. You guys are what make this community so great and help a lot with it. So thank you all so much for helping us reach 100 subscribers, and let's continue to grow and get larger. And now that we're at 100, I'm going to start making some more of those things. I'm thinking about live streaming, and I'm going to make a Discord to put out more media information as well. So I want to thank you all so much for the support and love that you have shown. And let's dive right into it. So comments of the day. Remember, your comments get featured in long-form videos like this. So let's go right into the comments of the day. Corey, you go. Great observation, kid. And that was on the Lamar Jackson contract update. Thank you for saying that. It means a lot to me. Thank you for the support there, Corey. Hope you learned a little bit about it and are a little shocked by how much Dak Prescott got paid, because I'm honestly surprised that Dak got that much money for what has happened over the past few years. But if Dak is getting it, we all know Lamar is going to want it as well. And then, David, you go really deep into this. You said, I had no idea about Prescott getting that big of a contract. That will make signing Lamar even more difficult. Lamar needs to be careful because he could end up with a huge contract on a garbage team and his winning days behind him, and he will probably end up in a huge tax state like New York or, excuse me, or Calais, where he loses more of that salary and taxes. How do some teams pay so many players big money? Dallas, since he pays a bunch of offensive players big money, yet Ravens struggle with staying under the cap and pay cheap. What is going on? Thanks for the info today. Your knowledge is appreciated. You also said, to be clear, I love Lamar and hope he stays and retires a Raven. He is unbelievable. I hope he understands he may price himself out of Baltimore if he does not work with the Ravens. I understand getting what's yours, but when will players understand that each dollar they take for themselves is less to put quality around them and less chance to win? When you are the one of highest profile players in the game, why does all your money need to come from the team? Where are his commercials and other revenue streams? Some other players figured that out. I hope Lamar does the same and remains with us because he is the very best in the game. Thank you so much for the comments, David. I agree with you here. Dak getting that much money, the $240 million with $231 million guaranteed, is a massive contract that Lamar is going to look at and say, I want that same stuff. Now, if he's taking $60+ million a year, you're right. He can't have as much talent around him because he's taking up more of the salary cap, and when you have to go and pay other players, you won't be able to afford all those other players like that. Now, I will say, if you can get him down and you're paying him $64 million, you're opening up still technically $20 million in cap space next year because you're not paying him $84 million, which is a lot better, but $65 million is still a lot of money to be paying him, and every bit you pay him is somebody else that can't be on the team that helps make an impact towards him. And I think he has the capability of playing the same trumps cards as he did before in 2023 and saying, well, I want to trade if you're not going to pay me the money that I want. And I think he wants that contract and he wants that money, and he proved it last time. And so either the Ravens have to give it to him or not. I hope he works with the team. I hope he works with DeCosta, and that DeCosta can reach through to him and be like, hey, man, look, like, it's hard for us to go out and win Super Bowls if you're going to get all that money. But he is sort of worth that much money. Like, if you're talking about one of the perennial best quarterbacks out there in the league right now, and what he can do as a two-time MVP, and if he goes out and wins a Super Bowl, then he may be worth that full contract to that full extent and be worth paying that much. I think I'm on the side of I'd rather get out ahead of it now, because you got to look at how much the NFL cap space has been expanding every single year. Over the past 4 years, it's been expanding pretty exponentially by millions of dollars. And so if you can get out ahead of that and say, and then you put him on a 5-year contract now, you this offseason say you gave him that fully guaranteed contract, $64 million a year, 5 years, and we're just like, we're getting out ahead of this. This is what we're doing, and he signs it. Well, in 4 years down the line, if the NFL cap space has expanded by another $40 million or so, then you're sort of looking at that and going, well, we got out ahead of it, and now that contract doesn't actually look so big. And I would rather go that route if they're going to keep him around like that, and especially if the Ravens go off like they're supposed to this year and go deep in the playoffs, and he wins a lot of games in the playoffs and takes them to a Super Bowl. He's going to demand so much more money, and I'd rather just have him on the long-term contract of, yeah, we already extended you. We got you on the contract. This is what we're paying you. We aren't renegotiating to even more, where he's like, well, I think I'm actually worth $70 million a year or something like that. And so, thanks for the comments, David. I hope that answers a little bit of your questions, and that I think when looking at the Ravens and why they're always in salary cap problems is because of what they do with restructuring some of the contracts, like what they had to do with Lamar and restructuring his contract down the line, even this past year and going into this year. They had to restructure his contract, which opened up more cap space, but continues to push it back, and which has been building on, and other big players that they've been paying, and it soaks up so much of the cap space, and the other teams front load their contracts or backload them in such a way and then shift money around as need be. And that's one thing that the Ravens could probably get a little better at working at, is figuring out how to constantly shift the salaries around and work them in such a way that it's advantageous towards the team and you're not always just buying cheap. But thank you, David and Corey, for the comments. I appreciate you guys' comments. Hope answered your question there, David. And I am excited to see what happens going forward with Lamar here over the next few weeks and into this next season, and hoping that a long-term contract gets done. He is the best player on the team, and nobody can argue that. But if you guys would like your comments featured in the next long-form video, make sure remember to comment. They get featured here in the long-form videos. All right. Let's dive into the juicy stuff today. So what has come out today? Ravens are signing the contract with Calais Campbell. It is expected from reports from Jeff Strebeck that it is going to be about $5.5 million, and I'm assuming it's going to be a one-year contract. So a one-year, $5.5 million contract that is getting inked out today, and I think this is a really good contract that is really worth it. He's a good player. He's solid. He had 6.5 sacks this past year, was decent as a player, not just decent, has the capability to continue to perform at that level. And you're bringing a guy back to Baltimore that has a level head, lots of experience, has played on the team before, that the Ravens wanted back previously when they were trying to trade with the Dolphins to bring him back, but that never went through. And so you're finally getting an experienced, level-headed player that can be a leader on the team and add to the depth of the team. You're not expecting him to be the center linchpin of that defensive line. You're expecting him to be a rotational guy that can go in there and make plays when it is required in the situations that it is required, and that is exactly what he can be. And I'm really excited to see him coming back on this. Now remember, it's a $5.5 million contract, which will soak up a chunk of that cap space that remained. The Ravens now, after this, I think are going to have around $23 million, $24 million in that ballpark in cap space remaining, which then needs to get split between a center, possibly going after another edge, maybe another wide receiver. Others are saying running back, but you got to split it up between the remaining needs that the team has. I would more focus on possibly adding just one more piece at linebacker for depth and a center and another edge, and increasing that competition in the edge room, and not just increasing the competition in the edge room, adding talent there to get back after the quarterback even more. And Calais Campbell will help in that, but he'll also help in just making a more solid defensive line in case Matabika goes down or so on. But that remaining cap space needs to get used up. And first thing first, with a center. The center needs to be that key pickup first and foremost. And that's what I want to see. But that's the news coming out. Calais Campbell is coming back. Kyle Van Noy on that same boat, sort of talking free agency moves. Kyle Van Noy says that he can really still play, and he actually in an interview today not only said that he thinks he can still continue to play at the age of 35, but that he can still be a guy that will be a double-digit sack leader within the league for whoever picks him up and keeps him, and that he will go out there and his age won't affect his play. He'll be strong, he'll be solid, and he'll get after quarterbacks. And I think he has the capability to do this. His best year ever as a player that he got a Pro Bowl nod was with the Ravens when he had 12 and a half sacks. But he is a guy that I think if he's going to have success, he needs talent in and around him, and the Ravens have that. You look at the year he got his Pro Bowl success in 2024, and the talent that was on that defensive line around him helped elevate him and bring him to that next level. And I think the Ravens have that on the team now. It's just the question, do they want to keep him around? He has said that he's close with Jesse Minter and Eric DeCosta, and that he would love to stay with the Ravens and continue to do more there, and that he thinks he can give more to the team. But I don't know if the team is ready or willing to keep him. A lot of the pundits and us guys have been saying, looking towards Jadeveon Clowney, and that a reunion with Jadeveon Clowney would be really good. I think Van Noy wouldn't be a horrible idea. It would be another older edge within the room that can be a leader, but I think that's also Trey Hendrickson filling in on that, and Trey Hendrickson is a little younger, and so if I'm going that route, I would rather go Clowney and have him in there and not need a guy that so much needs a lot of talent around him to elevate, as much as Clowney is just a more solid player, in my opinion. But I'm excited to see that he says that he wants to return to Baltimore, and that he says he can get more out of this and go out and be another double-digit sack leader. And maybe DeCosta and Minter will see that in him and say, yeah, we got the talent. We want you to stay here. We can get the most out of you. We're going to be coming in waves anyway on the defensive line and constantly having fresh legs out there and getting after the quarterback, and you could fit into our system that way. But I don't know if the Ravens are willing to go that way right now, especially with the age he's at and who they've already brought in into the edge room with Zion Young and Trey Hendrickson. But I love hearing him say this on an interview. So that's the news on Kyle Van Noy. Next thing, and I know we're moving pretty quick, but I actually have to be going here not too long to a lacrosse game for my younger brother, and so we're moving through this before that happens. All right, so more praise is also coming out for the Ravens drafting Venga Ioane. I mean, Rick Eisen for ESPN just came out today and said that he fully believes that Venga will win Offensive Rookie of the Year, which has not been done yet by a guard, and that he's the perfect fit for the Ravens, and I love hearing this praise come out towards Venga. He is honestly probably the most perfect fit for the Ravens when it comes to a first-round pick in a very, very long time, because he just embodies that play like a Raven mentality. He's got an angry expression on him all the time. He plays with grit and mentality, and he is a strong wall. You look at him, and when players try and move him and bring in on the pass rush or just push him back, he doesn't. He sets his anchors, and he just sits there, and it's like they're bull rushing into a wall. That's what happens. And he's just immovable, which means really good for the pass rush and will also really help open up run lanes, which will help Henry and Lamar so much. Still looking at center and putting questions there, but I love that Ioane is a Raven and that he's getting this praise, and that teams really got to be taking into consideration and looking at the Ravens O-line right now and going, it's actually a pretty solid O-line between Ronnie Stanley, John Simpson, Venga Ioane, and Roger Rosengarten right now. That is solid. Now the center position needs to be solid, but at least on the right and left sides, you've got really good solid players in there that will help improve this offensive line. And Ioane even came out as far as say it's not much to switch between left and right guard. I've done both of them. I can play both of them. And he'll probably be slotted in there at that right guard spot. And so I'm really excited to hear that he is getting projected to possibly go out there and win Offensive Rookie of the Year, as well as just the fit that he's going to have for the Ravens coming into this. And I just wanted to bring that up real quick, the praise that he's getting, and that just shows how well the Ravens drafted there, that he's already getting that praise. And one final bit of news for the day. I know I'm going real quick, but again, I got to be heading out here not too long, and I wanted to get this video out quick for you, is that will Chandler Rivers push Marlon Humphrey out of the slot position and push him out to the outside as a cornerback? And I think that this is something that actually is not so much will he as much as it must happen, because when you look at Humphrey and how he played this past year in the slot, he was ranked third worst in the NFL at pass coverage in the slot out of all cornerbacks who had 30 or more pass coverage situations in that position. I mean, he was 46.9% success rate on the inside in that slot position, and it's just because he doesn't have the capability or the tools to play on the inside anymore. He's older. He's 30 years old. He's slowing down. He's much better on the outside with a 61.5% coverage success rate on the outside, and he needs to be shifted out there. We talked about this a while ago when we were talking about whether or not the Ravens should trade Marlon Humphrey, get picks out of him, or cut him to open up cap space. Well, if he stayed, we said, he needs to have his role shifted, and this is what still needs to happen. Marlon Humphrey needs to have his role shifted where he covers on the outside, where he has more success. His tools are still more versatile there, and he can have success there and be a solid starting corner there. And then on the inside, you're bringing in Chandler Rivers, who is this guy who reads quarterbacks really well, plays extremely aggressive. He reminds me a lot of our Darius Washington in that backfield where you're a little undersized, but you just play with a mean aggression. The guy comes running at you, you put your shoulder down and just truck into them. I mean, remember when Mixon did that with our Darius Washington there at the Texans game, and he just stuffed him, and then Zach Orr jumped on his back. Chandler Rivers could do that as well. He's also really shifty and quick, and he can play really well in that slot position right there at cornerback. And so I think it's not so much a question, should Marlon get pushed out by Rivers? I think Rivers could be a guy immediately pushing for a starting position in that slot and allowing Humphrey to use his talents that he still has left in the outside and letting him be successful out there. And so I'm expecting Chandler's to come in, and I think we'll see it more. And I'm a very high believer in him. I think he's one of the best deals the Ravens got in this draft, and that I'm a really high believer in that as training camp occurs and happens, that his talent and his success will show there, and he'll get that starting position out there. And so that's all I have for today, actually. That was the last bit I wanted to talk about, and I know it's a quick podcast episode, but I have to get out of here real soon in a few minutes and get jumping out. So I want to thank you all so much for joining in and listening. Sorry for the quick exit, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed the episode today and got to learn something, and especially about what's going on there with Calais Campbell getting brought in, with Van Noy, with Ioane, as well as Rivers and Humphrey. And if you like the content that you're hearing, please, again, really subscribe, like, and comment. Same on Spotify. Follow, review, and leave a comment. I take your comments, use them here in the long form videos. You get the shout outs, as well as just making me happy, because I want to talk Ravens football and I love hearing from you guys. It makes my day hearing from all you guys. I want to thank you all so much for jumping in and listening. I can't wait to talk to you all next time, and let's go Flock Nation. Have a great rest of your day.